Goodbye to the rain, hello sunshine and breezes and good-looking weekend weather. We'll be talking more about that in your full forecast coming up. I'll see you in about 10 more minutes or so. Over to you, Amy.
All right, Jamie, thank you. In your Consumer Corner this morning, we're helping you crack those codes at the grocery store, from finding the freshest fruit to scoring the best deals. Turns out there are codes for everything. And our savings angel, Josh Ella, just joining us this morning with the details on that. Great to see you, as always.
Thank you, Amy.
I'm real careful about expiration dates.
Yes.
Bread, fruit, whatever it is, I'm always looking. Okay, sometimes I'll even dig to the back and be like, oh, that's the freshest one. I'm going to grab that one.
Right. So like dairy's really easy to do. You're at the milk, the milk case. You open it up and you're like, okay, well, I see November 13th way back there.
I'm gonna grab that
way, right? You don't want to use the stuff that's going to expire soon. So the same thing exists for bread and produce. There's codes that you can use. We'll even talk about how to really work the clearance rack, because there's a system for that as well. But I want to start off by talking about breads. Now, most of the times you can find pretty easily best if used by dates on the bread. And so that should give you an indication of the freshness of the product. However, if you can't find it or it's too small, you can't read it, well, you can always look at the color tag. So bread is generally delivered, in most cases, 5 days a week. They take off Wednesdays and take off Sundays. And each color represents a certain day of the week that it was delivered. Now, the standard is Mondays are blue, Tuesdays are green, red, white, and yellow. And if you want to read the whole list, you can go to savingsangel.com, or we actually have the article up on fox35orlando.com. But now, in this case right here, I bought both of these last night, and in this case, this bread was actually delivered on Saturday. This one, super fresh. Oh, actually, this one is actually 6 days old.
Good to know.
So I would rather take the Saturday one than the one that's been sitting on the shelf for 5 days.
Got it.
So, same thing, again, bagels, same system. This one, super fresh. This is a blue tag, so I know that it was delivered just the day prior to it. Again, once you kind of remember the colors, then you won't forget it. But again, if you want fresh breads, fresh bread is the best. So you can use this system. Now, let's talk about produce, because this is really interesting. And again, we're going to talk about this is the price lookup unit, so the PLU number. Now, conventionally grown produce always has a 4-digit code, right? And organic produce, look at these ones over here, has a 5-digit code.
I never noticed that.
So it has a PLU number and it begins with a 9. Now, this is interesting also. If you ever encounter organic products, organic produce that has 5 digits but it begins with an 8, it's organic, but it's not guaranteed to be free from GMO type stuff. Now, really interesting, I scoured the produce section last night at Publix. I couldn't find an organic produce, any organic produce that began with an 8. So if you like genetically modified food, but you also like organic, you're kind of out of luck. You get both of them the same. So now, one other thing I wanted to share I thought was really interesting, and a lot of people don't know this. When you comb the clearance racks, again, this is just kind of a standard. It doesn't always work this way, but a lot of times people want to know, well, when is the best time to buy this, or when is the price not going to go any lower? So one rule of thumb that you can use when you're working the clearance racks is, let's say that the shirt or whatever it is starts at $15. Then it goes to like $12.99. Probably still has a way to go. Like if it's only 20, 30%, it's still got more to go. Now, what I want you to look at is the last number of that price. The further it gets away from the original price, so in this case, the shirt was $15. If the last number is a 9, still has a lot to go. 8, 7, by the time it gets to like 6, 5, 4, it's usually you never see 4. But if it gets down, if you see the price getting down to like 6 and 5, that last digit, it's about ready to get removed from the store. If it doesn't get in,
And then what happens to those clothes when they say, okay, we're completely done with all this, they didn't sell, they go where?
They either go to, so in the case of like Nordstrom, they go to Nordstrom Racks, or they'll go to another retailer, or they just they just get rid of it. They donate it, or they give it to Salvation Army or Goodwill. Which is where that's where I end up doing a lot of my back to school shopping. Absolutely.
Really good. Okay, so again, savingsangel.com or myfoxorlando.com. Josh has got the article linked both places. Always great to see you.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Josh Ellis, thank you very much. All right, let's send it back to Bob.
Amy, thank you. Adele opening up